there everybody, it's nice to chat to you again. Today I'm going to show you a very handy feature that you can use in Excel. Many people are using Excel to record their data in their businesses. This feature is the pivot table. Some people are already using it. I hope that my method will help you in your business. So let's have a look. To help us learn how to use a pivot table, I've set up a virtual company in a virtual spreadsheet. And the important thing about the spreadsheet that you set up, any spreadsheet, is that your spreadsheet columns must have headings in every column that you intend to include in your pivot table. Your title or your title of your company or whatever it is must be above your headings of your columns. As you can see, I've done it this way. So the company is called Virtually Anything, and then my data is customer, item, color, cost and amount. Then you can create your pivot table on the same page as your information, but this does limit you slightly. For example, if you want to add more columns, you now have no space because your pivot table is in the way. So I normally create my pivot table on the second sheet. So this is what we are going to do today. So on our second sheet, I've already titled it pivot. We now click on that and it's now blank. So now you go to the top left hand corner and you'll see on the top left the third item. It says insert. Click on that and pivot table will come up. Click on pivot table and toward the center of the page a block will come up. It says create pivot table. Just leave it exactly like it is and move back to your original data. Just like that. Now all you have to do is highlight your information. You do this by leaving out your top title. That is the title of your company, and only highlight the columns and the headings. I'll do this just to show you. I'm going to use my shift and arrow keys so that you can see what I'm doing. See, so I'm just highlighting my titles of my columns and all the data I want to include. There. So I've highlighted my titles, my customers, all my items, all the colors, all the costs and all the amounts. Just like that. See, they're highlighted. And all you have to do is go ahead, press enter. Now on your second page your pivot table is right there. Now it's empty. So what has now happened is your pivot table is created, but now you need to fill in your data. On the right of the table or of the sheet is the data you can now put into your pivot table, and there it is listed: pivot table fields, customer, items, colors, cost, amount. But before we go and fill in our pivot table, there's some things you can do to make this pivot table far more user-friendly. The first thing we're going to do is go to the top of the page, right up here, and we're going to go and find out where we control this pivot table. There are two places actually, and that is pivot table analysis. If pivot table analysis is not highlighted when we are on the pivot table, you cannot manage this pivot table. And if you want to manage other sections of the pivot table, you'll click on design, just like that. But to control its data, you click on pivot table analysis. If you click anywhere else, like view, you cannot control the pivot table. So you go to pivot table analysis and you move back to the left of the screen and you go to options. Drop down this block, select options, and you select display, and you change this to classic display. The reason for this is if you change this to classic display, don't forget to OK it, it will allow you to move the columns around within the field of the pivot table. If it's not in classic display, you can't move the columns around. You'll understand what I mean just now. You now go to design and you move across here again to the left hand side, go to layout, report layout, and you change it to show in tubular format. Doing those two small changes makes all the difference to using this pivot table. There are many other changes you can make to this pivot table, but just those two small things make all the difference. If you don't do them, you will notice the difference and you'll probably come back and change it. Now we can start adding in our fields. So let's go across to the left hand side. Say we want to know how many customers, how much did all your customers spend. So let's choose customer and amounts. No, cost. I'm going to choose cost instead of amounts. Okay, there we go. You can see what I did. Sorry, I'm not showing you properly. Customer and cost. Now let's see what our pivot table looks like. There you go. You can see the customer, how much each customer spent, and it has a grand total. So your customers in total spent 2,418 in total. Now let's just say you want to find out what items did they spend this amount of money on. So we're going to put items in there. Go back across this way and let's just throw in some items. Now what has our pivot table done? It says Amy, she bought a charger at that amount. Andy, however, bought 2 items to come to $1,100 or rands or whatever it is. And there you have a nice breakdown. You can print this out, refer to it, and if you put some months in here, some dates in here, you'd have a substantial record that you can use to see some trends. This pivot table you can rearrange to your heart's content, add any data in, make it as big or as small as you like. So I hope this information has been helpful to you, and you're welcome to ask any questions you like about it, and I will assist you in future videos or just in question and answer below. Or if there's more questions, I will answer them in a question and answer video. Thanks very much for watching. Please watch my other videos and subscribe and like. Thank you. Have a nice day further. Bye bye.